Now I request Dr. Prakash Chauhan sir, Director NRSE ISRO, to join the stage. I invite Dr. Prakash Chauhan ji, Director NRSE ISRO. A big round of applause to Director NRSE ISRO. Make some noise. Cheer up. Oh,
We are starting S series, S for science, S for students, and S for our chief mentor, Dr. G. Satyesh Reddy sir. And we are starting 52 weeks free online lecture series at a YouTube channel. You can attend, every student must attend to gain the knowledge regarding space. They are receiving flagships. Every school will be receiving a card. Scan the link, scan the QR code below, and once appreciate them for their performance. Once again. A bit louder.
नाम नहीं एक जश्न है भारत, रग रग में है जीत की आदत, ऐसा हुनर दुश्मन भी सलामी दे। तू सूरज हम तेरे उजाले, तुझसे जुदा नहीं होने वाले, आखिर तक हम सफर तिरंगे के।
Hello, how are you all? How is the Josh? How is the energy? Say loudly, I have not heard. Yes. So, Bhaunara. Okay, good evening to all of you. So, I am sure that you are still very fresh and, energetic to hear something for next 15 to 20 minutes, even after so many talks by very eminent people in the morning. What I am going to do, I am just going to discuss some aspects of science, technology, its use for common man, and how in your careers you can take science, technology, and you can think of developing your future and become a very nice Indian citizen who can contribute to the development of our own country. So friends, first of all, let me thank Naresh Indian ji. You know, his energy is so much that he is able to pull really such big amount of crowds. Every year he is organizing so many programs. Let us give big round of applause to Naresh Indian. Say, the kind of mission he has taken to ignite the young mind is truly inspired by our people's president, Dr. APJ Kalam Sahab. So he is the real champion of the thought process of our former president Kalam Sahab. I was fortunate to visit recently, 15 days back, Dr. Kalam's memorial in his village in Mandapam, in Rameshwaram rather, which is the last railway station of India. And it is a very small town. So you imagine a young boy born in 1930 in the last village of India, which was so remote and which was so far flung, and he rose to become the president of this country. Imagine the kind of personality, the kind of hard work, and the kind of dedication he must have had to get that transformation, coming out from a small village in Rameshwaram and reaching to the seat of power in New Delhi and living in a Rashtrapati Bhavan which has been built by Britishers. Such a fantastic journey, and throughout that journey he contributed dedicatedly, selflessly for the development of nation. Earlier in ISRO, when he was a scientist, he was developing, the early rockets of India, his contributions to SLV rockets and initial launch vehicles, sounding rockets, and then ASLV rocket is unmatchable. And then when he moved from ISRO to DRDO, he contributed towards the development of the missile program of our country. That is why Dr. Kalam is popularly known as Missile Man of India. And all these missiles were at display. When last year, many of you must have seen during Operation Sindoor, how these missile systems which were developed by young engineers, students of India, and of course the scientists from ISRO, DRDO, and many other institutions, has saved our country, and we defeated our adversaries in a completely, truly, spectacular fashion. So, the vision of Dr. Kalam for young people was to ignite the younger minds from the very beginning, so that you need not become a scientist, you need not become an engineer, you can be a cricketer, you can be a footballer, you can be a musician, you can be an artist, but whatever you do, you have to do that with full commitment, perfection, and passion. Then nobody can stop you becoming successful in your life, in your career, whatever endeavors you take. And in doing so, you may fail. The failures will occur. Sometimes you will get disheartened by those failures. But friends, failures are the key for the success. And this has been shown none other than by ISRO. Not only once, but at many times. The most recent example, when our Chandrayaan-2 lander, which we were trying to put on the southern portion of the moon, it did not succeed. It reached very close to the moon, up to 200 kilometers or so, but it could not soft land. It crash landed and it has broken into pieces. And you must have seen the kind of gloom was there in the entire country. People were really sad. But ISRO people, we have not become disheartened by that event. We rededicated ourselves. Teams were put to analyze all kind of data which was given by the mission, and then we identified the issues which has led to this type of problems. And by understanding the entire chain of sequence and events, and by improving and augmenting the design, again we made an attempt, and in 2013 all of you saw that how majestically and beautifully and in a real spectacular manner we could land safely, successfully onto the surface of the moon, that too at a place where nobody has ever gone. So I think this is the most true example of how failures can teach and can lead to successes in life. But there is a caution. If you continue to do same and repeat the same mistakes again and again, and if you don't learn from your mistakes, you are not going to go anywhere. So the lessons are, even if you fail at times, don't worry. Failures are not bad. People may criticize you. Don't get disheartened. For some time you will be feeling low also. Don't worry. Try to overcome those moments. Learn what mistakes have you done and correct those mistakes. Don't repeat them, whatever next attempts in your life you are doing. I am telling you that that will be the key of the success for your future, for your careers, whatever thing you do in your life. This is the most fundamental part of your journey. So this is lesson number 1 as far as the most important lessons in the life are concerned. The second, the most important thing for the young people to keep in mind is the commitment, honesty, integrity, and love for the nation. If you are doing your work keeping these 4 or 5 points in mind, this also will lead to utmost success in your life. Honesty, not only in terms of, transactions, but honesty in your work. Honesty while dealing with your colleagues. Ethics, when you work in a big group, don't try to take credit of others in your name. That is a big problem. And many places you will find that you are also becoming victim of this. So you have to inculcate ethics in your work culture. Take the credits when it is you truly deserve that. Don't try to do shortcuts. Shortcuts in life will never take you anywhere. This is what I have learned in last 35 years or so. Your progress may be slow, but it will be steady and it will be fast after some time. So ethics and honesty is the key of the success of anyone in their endeavors. The third most important things are the dreams. You have to have dreams. Even at the age of 60, even at the age of 80, you must aspire and dream big. Whatever field you are working, you must keep your goals very high so that you can achieve those goals. If you do so, you will be driven by passion, you will be driven by the quest for getting that objective, as well as you will also continue to learn newer and newer things. You will never remain silent and never become obsolete in your life. Many people, you must have heard a term called white elephant. What is a white elephant? White elephant is a very valuable possession, very costly to maintain, but is of no use. So people after some time should not tell you that you have become white elephant. That can only happen when you remain productive and when you remain, constantly in touch with your areas. Now some new things which are happening in the country, especially in science and technology, I would like to talk about. Many of the people in the morning, they must have told so many dimensions of science and technology in our country. But if you really have to think for next 25 years or so, what are all going to be the newer things which one can think today? In fact, talking about future is the most difficult thing to do. We don't know even what is going to happen after 1 hour. Forget about 1 hour. What is going to happen after a few minutes is very difficult to know. But in case of technology, in case of science, there are some predicted paths today. We can foresee that what kind of world we will be living in next 10 years, 15 years or so. So for a country like India, which is a growing country, which is blessed with the young people, we have so-called the population dividend or young people's dividend. The average age of Indian is only some 28 to 29 years, less than 30 years. So this is our power, and that power is the youth. All these youths which is sitting in this room, you are the real power for success of the country. And for next 25 years, we will have this demographic dividend with us. Afterwards, we will also start becoming an older country like Japan or US or Europe. So we need not miss these next 25 years. This is going to be the golden period of India's development. And mark my word, if we perform and all of you with your commitment do work in whatever field you are working, nobody can stop becoming India as one of the best country in the world, the most advanced and most developed country in the world. Mark my words today. But for that, each one of you have to contribute significantly. First of all, you have to become good citizen. Citizen, as I told you, who are honest, who have integrity, and who are committed and have love towards the nation. Nation first should be your idea. Then other things will come secondly. Second most important aspect, keep eye on the changing technology trends. Nowadays, what is the buzzword? What is the biggest technological intervention happening? AI. People talk of artificial intelligence. But don't forget, artificial intelligence works on natural intelligence. If you don't have natural intelligence, artificial intelligence cannot help you at all. So there is a perception that AI will take away the jobs. What will happen to our jobs? Nothing is going to happen. AI, a tool which has been made by natural intelligence, it can mimic the natural intelligence, but it is highly unlikely that it may supersede the natural intelligence of human brain, which has tremendous capability compared to any of the supercomputing machines today you have. So, but AI is going to be the future. You all have to become, a user of AI, at least if not a developer. If you are not having prowess for developing AI tools, but all of you must prepare yourself to use AI as a tool. When we were growing up, computers were just coming. Many people were not knowing even MS Word. Even a PowerPoint presentation, many people were not knowing. But at that time also people told computers will take away so many jobs. Did it happen? It has not happened. On contrary, it created so many jobs that India became the superpower in computing science, in software. But lot of people learned computer applications, their uses. So if you are a hardcore software developer, an AI expert, fantastic, go ahead. But if you cannot do that, you must adopt to these AI solutions and AI applications so that you can remain ahead compared to your peers when it comes to utilization of AI in terms of knowledge development, in terms of doing your activity, and in terms of, giving your best to your work wherever you are working. That is one key aspect which is going to get transformation of life is going to happen through this technology. The second most important aspect for a country like India is transformation from hydrocarbon based economy to clean and green energy systems. We are talking of reducing carbon footprint. India is also one of the big emission country which emits lot of carbon dioxide, which is leading to warming of this entire planet. And we have made commitments that by 2070, India will become net zero emission country. Now, how we can become net zero emission country? We have to stop use of hydrocarbon products, oil, natural gas, coal, which are today fueling the economy. Our power plants are fueled by coal, which basically produces large amount of CO2. We have made a big transition in solar energy, but the other renewable sources of energy like wind, like tidal powers in coastal areas, and the green and clean energy coming from biomass by the waste which we are producing, these are going to be the transformational technology. Another big technology which is evolving is the hydrogen or the green hydrogen technology. Many of the transportation systems, big transportation systems like trucks and aircrafts, they all will be propelled in future by this fuel called hydrogen, which is very abundantly available on earth because we have a lot of water, and from this water we can draw hydrogen. But this hydrogen is of any use if it is drawn also by a clean process, and that is known as green hydrogen. That means if I use solar energy to break H2O molecule into hydrogen and oxygen, that becomes green hydrogen. So the future era or the future fuel of the world is going to be the green hydrogen. Think about this. Start thinking about how you can contribute. definitely you can become a billionaire, millionaire if you start investing yourself in these areas. So clean energy, green energy is really going to transform this world. And the third most important technology, which is on anvil, is the quantum technologies, which are basically taking very rapid shape for quantum computing. Quantum computers are not required for making your PowerPoint presentations. You don't need, you have much smarter, faster computers. But to solve very complex problems, if I have to do weather forecasting at 50 meter or 100 meter grid interval, I require to do large amount of computations. And for such kind of complex problems, I will require quantum computers. So already some very initial stage quantum computers have already been developed. But if I have to compare that development, it is just like, when the Wright brothers did their first air flights in the field of quantum computers, we are at that stage compared to the jet stage of aircrafts today. So a lot of work has to happen, and some of you can really contribute in that particular area. Quantum communication is another key area, especially in terms of the security perspective. You need to communicate to each other. We are talking to each other through a mobile phone, or I am sending messages to US, Canada. There is always a problem of cyber security. You are not sure that somebody is listening to you while you are talking. It's called spoofing. There are many types of spoofing going on. And world over, many cyber agencies are involved in getting information. So we want to have a technology which is foolproof, where communication can be fully encrypted and you are not going to, get spoofed by anyone, or what we call as the man in the middle attack. It's not going to happen. So that technologies are going to come through quantum computing platforms, or using quantum strategies by quantum, entanglement or photon entanglement technology systems. So keep an eye on quantum systems, quantum computing, quantum communication. This is going to transform the future lives of millions and billions of people in this world. And the third and last important area is going to be the climate resilient development. Climate change is not a story. For someone in USA, it may be a story today. After 3 years, we don't know. But climate change is a reality today. And a country like India, every year we are facing issues which are related to extreme rainfalls. A lot of people are losing life. Even lightning is killing many people. We have to start adopting technologies which are climate resilient. Our development should be done on best climate resilient practices. So many of you, those who are thinking of becoming a scientist, environmental engineer, civil engineer, or a developer, you have to think about how you can build systems, how you can build infrastructure which is climate resilient, which will withhold or withstand the adversity of changing climate in next 50 years or so. So these 4 or 5 things, I will not take much time, but these are going to fundamentally transform life in next 25 to 30 years or so. So if you remain adopt, and if you remain vigilant about these things, or if you yourself can take a jump and swim across this complex world or complex technological realm, definitely you will be much ahead than anybody else in your peer group. So with these words, I think we will move on, and I wish each one of you, all these young students, a great future, a fantastic life ahead, and blessings of your parents, and with the blessings of your teachers, may God Almighty shower all kind of blessings on you. God bless you all. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable insights.